Welcome back, environmental science students. Let's jump right in. Today's explainer is a virtual field trip, a focused documentary analysis of a bird that literally embodies the delicate balance of our wetlands. I'm talking about the white-breasted waterhen, or as it's locally known, the dahook. This creature is an absolute masterclass in evolutionary design and ecological harmony. So get your notes ready and let's get into it.
Think about this quote for a second. A natural clock, a messenger of rain, and the bearer of a melancholic melody echoing through the Hogla forests. Beautiful, right? For generations, that deeply resonant call was the everyday soundtrack of rural wetlands, canals, and lily-covered ponds. But tragically, that iconic melody? It's fading. And the silence it's leaving behind isn't just a loss of rural charm, it is a blaring alarm bell for the health of our entire ecosystem. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the vanishing aquatic echo. 2, morphological adaptations. 3, the food chain and ecosystem. 4, reproduction and propagation. And finally, human aggression and extinction. Section 1, the vanishing aquatic echo. You know, these birds used to be an incredibly common sight, darting around water hyacinths and lily pads. So their sudden absence as a keystone species is a huge red flag. It's nature's way of telling us that these wetland habitats are severely compromised. Moving on to Section 2, morphological adaptations for survival. To really grasp why losing them is such a big deal, we have to look at how perfectly engineered they are for this exact biome. The physics here are just super cool. So an adult white-breasted waterhen weighs somewhere between 160 and 330 grams. Now, if you took a dense object of that exact same weight and dropped it onto a delicate lily pad, it would plunge straight to the bottom, no question. But the waterhen, it literally walks across these fragile leaves with total ease. The secret is weight displacement. They have these remarkably elongated, spread-out toes. It's exactly like how a boat floats by distributing its weight across a massive surface area of water. The waterhen's feet spread that 300-ish grams over a wide section of the leaf. They aren't just stepping, they are perfectly distributing their mass. And the biomechanical wonders definitely don't stop at their feet. These birds use some incredible internal pneumatic engineering. I'm talking about specialized air sacs. These are actual hollows within their lungs, and incredibly, even inside their bones. When the waterhen takes a breath in, these cavities fill up with air, which actively drops their overall body density. It makes them highly buoyant. So while they prefer to walk on aquatic vegetation, if they need to cross a canal or hunt in deeper water, they are expert swimmers. They are quite literally built from the inside out to conquer the water. But surviving in the water means you have to keep the water out, right? Living in a marsh makes a rigorous daily grooming routine absolutely mandatory. They rely entirely on something called a preen gland, which sits right at the base of their tail. This gland secretes natural oils and fats, and the waterhen meticulously uses its beak to spread that oil over every single feather. It creates this vital, waterproof shield. Without it, their feathers would get completely waterlogged. Their weight would shoot up, their buoyancy would fail, and those fancy specialized toes wouldn't be able to save them. So this daily routine, it is literally a matter of life and death. All right, Section 3, the food chain and ecosystem. So why does nature put so much evolutionary energy into perfectly adapting this specific bird? It's because the waterhen serves a massive, overarching purpose in maintaining the whole wetland ecosystem. Just look at their insanely diverse diet. They are the ultimate omnivores, spending their days tirelessly foraging in the mud. Their menu has everything: snails, oysters, little crabs, water chestnuts, tender lily shoots, and algae. But there are 3 things on this list I really want you to pay attention to: leeches, mosquito larvae, and small snakes. Because this brings us to their ultimate ecological significance. Eating leeches and mosquito larvae isn't just about the bird getting a tasty lunch. It acts as a critical, built-in natural pest control mechanism. By keeping those insect populations in check, the waterhen maintains the biological equilibrium of the wetlands. When we talk about human health and environmental balance, the survival of this bird directly mitigates the explosive growth of pests that spread disease to us. They are basically nature's tiny feathered sanitation workers. Let's turn to Section 4, reproduction and propagation.
This whole natural cycle relies on a really fascinating behavioral ecology that's tied right to the rhythm of the Earth, specifically the 4-month monsoon season. As those storm clouds roll in and the first rains hit, the birds go through this crazy physical transformation. Driven entirely by hormonal shifts, the base of the beak on both males and females turns this incredibly vibrant, bright orange. Outside of mating season, it's pretty pale, but this bright biological beacon is nature's way of signaling that mating season has begun. The males then start projecting that intense, resonant call under the cloudy skies to find a mate. And fun fact, because this beak change happens exactly the same way in both sexes, it's actually super hard to tell a male and a female apart unless they're standing right next to each other. Once they pair up, the clock is ticking. Nesting is a fast, collaborative sprint. First, they pick a spot right near the water or tucked into low-hanging bushes. Second, working together as a team, they gather surrounding materials, bamboo twigs, cane, dry grass, and soft algae for the inner lining. And third, they build this shallow, bowl-like nest in an astonishing 3 to 4 days. It is a remarkable display of instinctive engineering and teamwork. Then comes the scary part. For a highly vulnerable 19 to 20 days, the female incubates a clutch of 6 to 8 eggs. Both parents actually tag team the incubation and guarding duties. And they really have to guard them because nature is ruthless. Their eggs are a huge prize for predators, especially snakes. There are actually documented cases where a snake knows that a direct attack will provoke a furious response from the parents. So the snake will wait patiently, just to stealthily knock a single egg out of the nest and eat it safely nearby. It is a high-stakes 20-day waiting game until those little pitch-black chicks finally hatch.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, Human Aggression and Extinction.
So while these birds are incredibly well adapted to survive the wild and natural predators, they are hopelessly outmatched by anthropogenic threats, meaning us. Human activity is currently pushing this vital species right to the edge of local extinction. And the hunting methods? They are particularly cruel because they weaponize the bird's own natural instincts against it. Poachers will set up decoy birds or play recorded mating calls near a nest. The father, who is fiercely protective of his territory and his family, hears what he thinks is a rival male. He charges out to defend his home, only to run straight into a human trap. And with the male gone, the whole family unit completely collapses. The mother almost always cannot incubate the eggs, gather food, and fight off predators all by herself. One trap doesn't just catch one bird, it destroys an entire generation.
But it's not just direct hunting. We are actively erasing their homes. Unplanned construction and the rapid filling in of wetlands, canals, and ponds completely annihilate the complex habitats these birds absolutely require. And remember what we just talked about with the food chain. When you pave over the wetland and the waterhen disappears, that natural pest control collapses. The direct negative consequence of this unplanned urbanization is a dangerous, skyrocketing surge in mosquito and pest populations. We are literally engineering our own environmental hazards.
So I want to wrap up today's explainer by leaving you with a provocative question. Is momentary greed for meat, or the relentless drive to just keep building without a plan, really worth sacrificing our wetlands' natural pest controllers? As environmental science students, it is absolutely crucial to recognize that nature's balance isn't just some abstract concept in a textbook. It's tangible, and it relies on creatures exactly like the white-breasted waterhen. When we silence their call, we are really only hurting ourselves. I hope this analysis challenges you to reflect deeply on the urgent need for conservation right now. Thanks for learning with me today, and keep asking the hard questions.